trip to Spain past reading week, I made sure to stop by the Real Madrid Football Club store in my hometown. I wanted to purchase several postcards and collectible cards for my students. At the time, I was preparing a lesson plan that involved an activity in which students had to find the fastest subway route to the football stadium in Madrid, using an authentic subway pamphlet that I had brought with me in Spanish. The winners would receive either a collectible card or a postcard with a soccer player in it. The entire class was thrilled. They were preparing for the activity as if it was the final of the Champions League of soccer. What was even more thrilling for me was the fact that they became so engaged with the topic, not only completing the tasks, but asking constant questions on the culture of soccer in the Spanish world. I clearly remember one particular student that kept asking me all sorts of questions. How do you say Cristiano Ronaldo is the worst in Spanish? Or Messi is the greatest on earth? And for her in the class, all of a sudden, soccer became a bridge to a culture and a language. Now, I must emphasize that a language class is different in several ways to a content course. For one, students are constantly challenged to express themselves in a language that's not their own, sharing ideas, likes, dislikes, not only to their peers, but even their instructor. I found that one way to ease the situation, which is very vulnerable to students at times, is to take a topic in which they have a curiosity about. The truth is that most students that enroll in a language class do so because they have an intrigue of the culture of a specific language. So, for example, in Spanish, most of our students that come into our class are in love with Hispanic music, Hispanic food, the sporting events. So I took this to heart and I prepared several sessions on soccer and the Spanish world. I would like to share with you briefly one of the experiences. So, in the lesson plan, I planned for several activities in which I projected images of soccer players and fans, and they had to discuss with their peers what those players or fans were feeling at that moment. And then after discussing several images, I showed an image of Diego Maradona scoring his famous goal in the World Cup of 1986. In that image, you can see Diego Maradona trying to head the ball in, but quite blatantly putting his hand and pushing the ball into the goal. In the Hispanic world, that goal is aptly titled La Mano de Dios, the God of hand, the hand of God. So at first I asked the students to describe the image in as much detail as they can, describing what's going on, the objects. And then I opened the discussion and I say, what do you think La Mano de Dios means? Usually I get students with confused looks saying, arguing that, the literal translation makes no sense at all. What in the world does God have to do with soccer and Maradona anyways? But some students begin to connect the dots and help the rest of the class connect the connection between soccer and religion in the Hispanic world. And then I show them this image, which is a comic strip. The language in it is very simple. Any beginning student in Spanish can understand what is said. The trick, though, is understanding something that goes beyond the literal sense, the actual cultural context. And I can't tell you how incredible it is to see students light up when they start connecting and understanding the religious status of Maradona to the Argentinian Pope when he tries to take his name when he takes the Pope. And just the look of surprise is incredible. And every time I teach this lesson, I become all the more convinced on the importance of bringing culture into the language class. Not only does it motivate students, but it also makes them more aware of their own culture. And this, I believe, is very important. The language class is not about trying to create native speakers, but rather into helping students make the transit back and forth from a culture and a language. Thank you.